Alright. Yo, what's up? This is your boy Jerms from JERMZ Boxing, aka JERMZ the Boxing Prophet. Yeah, I know it's been a few months since I last made a video, but you know, life hits you and, you know, shit happens. But anyways, I just wanted to jump straight in. First of all, before I make it's just one fight prediction. Before I actually jump in to do the actual prediction, I wanna say a little something about Mayweather. Me at one point was a self-proclaimed, I called myself a Pac-tard at one point, you know, being a pro Pacquiao, you know, and Mayweather. I was a big time Mayweather hater. Talk about, I used to say shit like, you know, Mayweather's not really a great boxer. How can you compare Mayweather to Sugar Ray Robinson or Ali or Leonard, or, you know what I'm saying? I used to be one of those guys, you know, a typical Floyd hater. Every time that he would fight, I would always try to go for the other guy. Okay, ever since Gaddy, when he fought Gaddy, I was even trying to root for Gaddy, even though I knew Gaddy was like a nowhere near Mayweather's expertise. I said Gaddy better land that lucky punch, you know, and Gaddy got destroyed, battered, and molested, you know, by Mayweather. He pretty much toyed with Gaddy. You know what I mean? That pissed me off even more. Every time Mayweather wins, I kind of get more mad and more mad. Like, God damn it, can he just stop winning? Fights against Oscar De La Hoya. Right there and then, I said, well, Oscar De La Hoya has that left hook. Eventually, he's going to get Mayweather, you know, he's not going to be able to handle the punches. And I was one of those guys that said that De La Hoya, you know, won the fight. You know, even my wife, you know, she said, like, you know, she just didn't get the impression that Mayweather won. Anyways, after watching the fight a few times, I realized, you know, because the thing is, when you're rooting for a boxer, you are more paying attention to what the boxer does as opposed to the other guy doing. So every time they throw punches or whatever, land or even land on the stomach, you're like, oh yeah, he's scoring. But every time the other boxer fights back or lands on your opponent, you kind of like erase it from your memory, you know. And there was a lot of jabs and crosses that they were so fast, I didn't even care to pay attention to him, you know, when he was landing on De La Hoya. Fights against Hatton, and I said, okay, well then, if Jose Luis Castillo was the only guy that really beat Mayweather, you know, in the first fight, then, you know, Ricky Hatton would have the same style, a lot bigger, you know, welterweight, not in the featherweight or lightweight or wherever the hell weight class that took place. Anyways, Hatton would muscle up Mayweather, and then Mayweather kind of check left hooked him and made him bull rush the corner. You know what I'm saying? That kind of like, whoa, he impressed me, but I still didn't want to give him that credit. I was like, you know what, Hatton, he just jumps face forward. He wasn't even that great anyways. So no matter what, I never wanted to give Mayweather his props. You know, that's just the way I was. He fights against Judah. I was like, well, Judah has that southpaw, you know, that southpaw style that can give anybody problems. You know, his little sneaky left uppercut is dangerous. Okay, so then there was a part where Judah checked right hook Mayweather and actually knocked him down. Well, not technically, because, you know, Mayweather's glove hit the ground. So right there and then, I was like, oh my God, you see someone can actually unlock the combination, the code, break down the code of Mayweather, you know, and it was Zab Judah. And so I was rooting for Zab Judah, and from round 6 and on, Mayweather was just cross ding, and Judah just started breaking down. He stopped throwing, just flat out, just stopped throwing. So I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Mayweather just, you know, had the better of him. I still wouldn't give him his props. Still, you know, typical Mayweather hater. Anyways, what other fights? Well, anyways, he kept winning, and I just kept doubting. Okay, he gets up to Shane Mosley. And I was trying to give it to Shane Mosley. I was like, you know what? Shane Mosley has that one-punch knockout. You know, since Mayweather likes to fight with his shoulder roll and his left hand down, and Mosley chucks that overhand right, the looping right hand, and that could give anybody problems. That can destroy Mayweather. It destroyed Margarito. He still had it. It destroyed a lot of good fighters. Round 2 comes around. Round 2. And when what was it? He jabs him to the stomach and just clocks Mayweather in the top of the head, buckling Mayweather. I jumped. I was like, I was so loud that I scared everybody who was watching it with me. I was like, yeah. I was like punching the ground and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I got so excited that I just couldn't handle myself. And then he lands another one, buckles him again. Oh my God, it's gonna happen. Sugar Shane Mosley is gonna expose Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? And then what did Mayweather do? Just like any fucking real champion would do, he adjusted. You see, that Shane Mosley fight is where Mayweather actually started winning me over. You know what I mean? Because I was like, damn, he adjusted to those punches. Those are big punches, you know, like, and he, like nothing. After that 2 rounds, he started toying with Sugar Shane Mosley. And I was like, what? You don't toy with Sugar Shane Mosley? You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I was like, he was shutting my mouth up for the first time, even though he won all these fights. And so I was like, whoa, damn, man, I don't know, man. He just kept dinging him, and dinging him. And then ultimately beat Sugar Shane Mosley. So I was like, you know, I reflected on everything, on Mayweather's career. I would go back, see his old fights, and then realize, you know, and instead of watching the fight in the perspective of the fighter I was rooting for, I was watching in the perspective of Floyd Mayweather. Then I would watch fights that I've never seen before, you know, of Floyd Mayweather. And I was like, damn, this guy's he's a pretty crafty fighter. You know, okay, because this is where I'm going back. Okay, anyways, well, I'll get to that. Cotto, Canelo, you know, I started rooting for Mayweather, and it never, you know, basically if you put your money on money, you're not going to lose, you know, because that's just the way it is. And I realized that he is one of the finest boxers. And that's from a Pactar, typical Floyd Mayweather hater talking. You know, that's a big deal for me. I even made a whole video talking about how Mayweather is not great. You know what I'm saying? So after a while, I started like, you know what, seeing him for what he really was. Guerrero, you know what I mean? What's his name? Well, the Ghost, you know, Robert Guerrero from like 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away, Gilroy. Him, you know, I mean, obviously he's a little guy. You know, but Mayweather, he's something else. His chin is so underrated. And then I started thinking about it, and this is where I was going at. What does Mayweather's little loudmouth tactics remind you of? Those psychological, you know, teases. What does that remind you of? This reminds you of a young Cassius Clay. Okay, you know how young Cassius Clay, when he was Cassius Clay, you know, before he was Muhammad Ali, before he was Muslim, you know, he would like, I'm pretty, I'm the king of the world and all this shit, you know what I'm saying? And nobody believed him, not even the experts, okay? They called it the upset of the year that year when he went up against Sonny Liston. Sonny Liston was supposed to be the Mike Tyson of that era, you know, he was like the bar brawler, the one that just knocks you out psychologically before you even step into the ring. So when he went against Liston had to go as far as to put some spice or some sort of a substance in his hand that got into Cassius Clay's eyes, and not even that way he could beat him, you know. So he beat Liston and shut everybody up. And you know, the second one, you know, the Phantom Punch, okay, it's controversial. I believe that he got him good, and you know, there was a punch that landed there, whatever, but there was a little bit of a throwing fight taking place. But anyways, you know, goes and upsets Foreman, when Foreman was the Terminator of that era, beating the guy that beat Ali. But basically what I'm saying is that the psychological shit that Mayweather pulls out has already been done before, and we've looked at Muhammad Ali the same way that some haters look at Mayweather. Now, one of my favorite boxers right now, I mean heavyweight boxers, is obviously Vladimir Klitschko. Vladimir Klitschko, I called it out ever since 2003, 2004. I saw him before because I was a big Vitaly fan. But Vladimir Klitschko, I realized, I was like, this guy's gonna be great. This guy's gonna be like one of those unified champions. You know what I mean? Like he just has that style, that European style, that he has jabs that kind of feel like crosses, and he has a cross that feels like a hook. Okay, so the thing is, a lot of people say that his style is boring. Okay, now there's two different types of boring fights. Now, first of all, if you say that somebody who runs or somebody who boxes is boring, you don't know shit about boxing, and that's the truth. Okay, so Vladimir Klitschko, they call him boring. He stands up, you know, jabs, you know. The other guys, you know, it probably hugs him, and by the time anything happens, he either knocks him out or just jabs the shit out of him. You know, but that's the thing. Why are you gonna judge or criticize the fighter that's winning when you have to criticize the other fighter that's not even breaking the code. You know, that's where you got it. Yeah, that's what a lot of people are missing, you know. Oh yeah, if he's so predictable and so boring, then why didn't you do anything knowing what the fuck he's gonna do anyways? You know what I'm saying? So I started thinking of it that way. Well, I hate when people call Vladimir Klitschko boring, yet I'm saying Mayweather was boring. So I was kind of being a hypocrite right there, and that's not right, you know, because boxing is boxing. Then I realized how hard he works out. I realized how much of a gym rat he is, and you know what? Mayweather actually is, you know, he underplays the whole athlete part of it. Yeah, the money, yeah, the fame, the glitz, the glamour, the actual fights and the pay-per-view numbers and all that shit. Yeah, he boasts about that, but he doesn't really talk much about, I mean, you just see it. You know, when he works out, when he trains like a freaking, like a Greece Olympian. You know what I'm saying? So this guy, I realized that it is in his blood. It is natural, and there's not many boxers like that. With Mayweather, it's one of those acquired taste things, but if you actually look at it from a broader perspective, you know what I'm saying? Going back to Gentleman Jim, Mendoza, the one that actually, you know, back in the 1800s when they actually brought in the whole boxing mentality as opposed to slugger, you know, young Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes, you know, the jabbing, Lennox Lewis, you know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that putting Mayweather in the category of greats that were hated on. Okay, same with the Klitschkos, you know, mostly Vladimir, you know, because Vitaly, he didn't care, he would brawl in there, brawls with one hand. Anyways, even Bernard Hopkins, you know, that's another one. Bernard Hopkins, they called him a boring fighter, you know, for the same reason that they called Mayweather a boring fighter. But when Mayweather's jabbing the shit out of you and counting you and doing all this to you, and you're not breaking it down, I think we should be criticizing the dude that's not even breaking the code. You know what I'm saying? Not even Da Vinci can break Mayweather's code. Okay? So anyways, I'm not saying that he's invincible. We're getting to the Maidana fight. The Maidana fight, you see, Maidana, I knew that he was going to be a little harder than to Mayweather than most opponents, because you see the way Mayweather fights, he fights textbook. Well, not so textbook because nobody can beat him. He fights in a way where he knows where the punches are coming. He works out so much that when the other guy's tired by round 6 and on, he can see everything in slow motion. The difference with the fight with Maidana is that Maidana throws, you know, because you got your straights, you got your hooks, and you got your uppercuts. Straights, hooks, uppercuts. You know, there's only 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dimensions. But Maidana, the different thing about this animal is that Maidana comes from angles. You know what I'm saying? He has like long arms, or I don't know what it is. Big. No, he acts like he's gonna hook to the body, and then he chucks it upstairs. He just has awkward angles and muscles you up. He's like a gang fighter. Okay, so the difference between him, you see, everybody who fights Mayweather wants to box him. That's the wrong thing to do, you know, and the ones that brawl him get picked apart. So what are you going to do here? You're going to try to box, but box brawl. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Maidana does. He likes to be patient. A lot of people don't have that patience because Mayweather already got to you before the fight even started, okay? Like Canelo, perfect example. Canelo was bitching and bitching. You're running. You know what I'm saying? By the way, he lost that last fight. Well, that's controversial. Anyways, yeah, you're running, and he couldn't even get Mayweather. Mayweather just kept dinging him, ding, bam, and Canelo was like, stop running away from me, Floyd. It's not gonna work that way. You know, he should have done to him what he did to Eddie Lara. You know what I'm saying? With that hook to the stomach, he couldn't even get close to Mayweather's stomach. And even if he did, I still think Mayweather would have popped him to death again. Anyways, Canelo is nowhere near that caliber. I shouldn't even mention him there. But anyways, Maidana, the way he got Adrian Broner was the formula, you know, because Adrian Broner is a little wannabe Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? His name should be Mayweather the Third. You know, and Maidana just kept dinging on the top of the head. That's another thing. Aim to the top of the head of Mayweather and the stomach. You know, I'm surprised Mayweather stayed in there in the pocket with Maidana. That in itself is respectful, because when he was fighting Guerrero, he was running. I mean, not running, outboxing Guerrero. And I was like, oh, that means that whoever he's going to fight next, that's the style he's going to use, because usually does that. Before a big fight, Mayweather tries to fight somebody who's kind of close to that style so he can, you know, outbox them. You know, a lot of people thought he was going to fight Pacquiao next because of the southpaw thing, but no, it doesn't work that way. You know, besides, you know, I don't really care to see that fight. I don't honestly, you know, because it's so much of a soap opera, so much of a myth that it's not even going to happen. Maybe now there's a big maybe, just because, you know, Pacquiao is coming at the end of his rope. You know, and now it's like Pacquiao is almost begging Mayweather for it. You know, like he needs him more than Mayweather needs him right now. because considering how the Pacquiao was going 50-50 with fucking Juan Manuel Marquez, all the fights, all 4 fights, 5 fights, whatever, and then falling asleep at the last fight. Yet Juan Manuel Marquez got punished by Mayweather, like easily, like embarrassingly easy, and knocked down. So it was like, oh well, I'm not saying that that's how boxing works, but it's something to think about. Anyways, Maidana roughed up Mayweather, and I believe that the fight was close up to the last 2 rounds. He would have won if Maidana would have won. It would have been one of those fair judges. I mean, fair judging. But if Mayweather would have won by 1 or 2 points, maybe. But that big sweep, like that one judge is like, man, he didn't even give Maidana a chance. Like, oh really? Mayweather didn't win all those rounds? But that's where the robbery is. I'm not saying that Mayweather robbed Maidana. I'm just saying the robbery is in that one scoring. The split decision ultimately was a fair thing. Okay, regardless of what the score was, split decision. That's good enough. That's why we're here again. That's why we're round number 2. I mean, whatever, the sequel of this fight. That's why Mayweather. The thing about Mayweather is that even though people say that he lost against Maidana, he doesn't like to sit well on that. He has to. He likes to test him. You know what? If they say that I lost, I'm going to fight him again. Just like Castillo. When they gave Castillo Castillo's fight to Mayweather, Mayweather got pissed. Because, he was like, why are they saying that he won? I won the fight. Even though a lot of people that saw that fight say that Castillo won the fight. So he gave him a rematch and beat him a lot easier the second time around. And that's what I believe is going to happen this time. Okay, a lot of people say Maidana's going to knock him out. Yes, if he had those Reyes gloves, those thin gloves, yeah, he might have had a chance, but Mayweather is smart. He's not going to fight Maidana with the gloves that Maidana wants. No, it's like saying, okay, I'll fight you in front of your homeboys. You know what I'm saying? The disadvantage. No, Mayweather's going to be smart. He knows that ultimately Maidana's gonna need this fight. It's not like Maidana's gonna pull out, but however, Mayweather would pull out if they fight with Maidana's gloves. You can call him a pussy. I'm calling him intelligent. Whatever. It's an opinion. But Mayweather is gonna fight with those big gloves. The padding, because the padding actually has it's better for the blockers. But the thing about that is that Mayweather, he has a tendency to break his hands, and that's why he likes to fight with those gloves on. But anyways, it's gonna happen with Mayweather's gloves, and therefore everything's steering at his favor. Okay, so what's going to happen this time is that Mayweather is not going to have the distraction. He had that whole thing about his ex being with Dally and all this drama out here and shit. I'm not saying that that's why he was distracted, but I'm just saying that there was a lot of shit going on with Mayweather. About building up to it. Now that we know he can't read, it's like nothing really can diss him now because everybody already knows his shit. Anyways, I'm just fucking around, but going back to the fight, I believe that Mayweather is going to adjust and he's going to kind of box this time a little more. He's not going to stay in the pocket as much. He's going to box a Maidana, and Maidana's going to be a little more, he's going to try to rush Mayweather more, which means that he's going to get countered a lot more, and it's going to be a little cleaner this time, that Mayweather's going to be popping him as he's coming in, maybe even like knocking Maidana down. Maybe I see a knockdown here, simply because Maidana's trying to prove something. The first time, okay, yeah, you come, you're surprised, you don't expect it. Okay, Maidana's being Maidana, with that gun tattooed on his freaking waist, he pulls it out and tries to pow. But not this time. Mayweather knows exactly what he's getting himself into. And this time when Maidana rushes in, doing that little thing that he does, tries to hook him, I believe he's going to eat a check left hook coming in and get knocked down. I believe that's going to happen because Mayweather also has something to prove to himself. And when he has something to prove to himself, it's a little more dangerous Mayweather, Exactly what happened with Juan Manuel Marquez, because everybody was talking about the comparisons with Pacquiao fights and all that shit. But anyways, yeah, I believe that it's going to be a lot cleaner for Mayweather this time, and he's going to actually win by a bigger sweep. Now, if Maidana wins, then the probably the old Floyd hater will probably manifest at that time. Yeah, you see, probably, but nah. I'm gonna be a student. I'm gonna tell you like this. Yes, Mayweather's gonna take it, but what it would take Maidana to actually beat him is that, knuckles to the head, make him wobble a little bit, like he does to most of his opponents. But it's not going to go in his favor because Maidana psychologically got kind of screwed because of the whole glove thing. He says it's not a big issue, but he was making it a big issue when he was asking for it, right? But now he said, oh yeah, whatever, we can knock you out with pillows or whatever. pillows or whatever. But I feel like it is kind of messing with him. But anyways, and I'm not saying that's going to be ultimately the thing that's going to beat Mayweather, but yeah, this is JERMZ Boxing, JERMZ. Let me know what you think about it. That's my prediction. Mayweather's going to take it. Decision. I don't think there's going to be a knockout, and if there is, you know, it's going to be one of those a stupid punch inside. You know, Mayweather probably get countered by a left hook. I mean, I'm saying if there's a freaking flash knockout, you know, but I doubt it. Maidana is a tough puncher. He's not a big puncher. That's what a lot of people get mixed up. At this weight, Maidana is, you know, he's kind of like a boxer puncher, not more of a power puncher. You know what I'm saying? So Mayweather actually has his own pop. He has a strong chin too. So I never really seen Mayweather that hurt, except for that left hook he took by Chop Corley years ago. But that's not gonna happen this time. I hope it does, just to make even the playing fields out. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? So maybe all, you know, Floyd haters, like I used to be. Well, you know, yeah, I would say I used to be, because I don't anymore. I have to, you know, recognize game. I would say that if you actually give Mayweather a chance and just, you know, buy into his shenanigans, you're not gonna lose, because, you know, I haven't been losing ever since, you know, I started, like, you know, appreciating his style. So that's it. This is JERMZ Boxing, Facebook / JERMZ Boxing, Instagram JERMZ Boxing, or whatever. Follow, add, whatever, whatever it is. I got music, JERMZ the rapper, beats, whatever, JERMZ beats. Hit me up and let me know, okay? So yeah, that's my prediction.